talk?
Yeah, what's up?
You're my favorite girl. You make my simple come on. 'Cause you're my favorite girl.
I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling quite I don't know, either it's like what do you call it? Seasonal depression. Like
Yeah, but in LA, it's always like bright and sunny.
yeah, but then now this daylight saving has happened, such a random thing. So I don't know, I'm feeling like a little bit like I won't call it
Like, is
depressed.
your energy pulled down?
Yeah, it's pulled down.
I can feel it. I know what you mean. I'm feeling that.
You're feeling that with me or what?
No, I'm feeling that with myself, especially when it's not sunny. Like, some days I get up, like last week, there were 3 days back to back I got up. 9 a.m., there was no sun, and I was just like, what the
Oh
hell?
my God. That's
And then
crazy.
at six p.m. when the sun is down, now at like 4:35, sun goes down. At 6 p.m., I'm hungry. I'm
Yeah.
like, I need my food.
What time do you usually eat? Like
Like
generally, what is your
eight
food
thirty,
cycle?
8:30 in the morning. Starting from the morning,
Yeah.
I get up in the morning. I
Mm,
started having ghee or ghee as we call it with hot water.
yeah.
You know, what you told me, and another friend of mine also told me to start doing this. So that has curbed
I'm
a lot.
sure I told you that must have
Oh
not
my
caused.
god!
I'm just gonna tell you, just because I told you, you will never listen. There must be someone else who must have told you. You will never listen to me.
Why are you saying it like that?
But was it me that
Yes,
caused?
it was you.
I've been telling you for 2 years. How come you started now? Your friend must have told you.
You told me like all the actors and actresses are doing this ghee situation in the morning. So it was all because of you. When Shah Rukh Khan is doing it because of you. So then I started ghee. ठीक है?
Mhm.
Then after I've been told, you have told me don't eat for half an hour to 1 hour after having that. Like first thing you should do is have ghee in the morning and then don't eat. So I've been doing that alternate days. Then I need to start with a cup of like cha, like Nepali cha in the morning. I make cha and then I start the day. Obviously, like I gravitate towards like a croissant or like something buttery or like biscuits, but I've started avoiding that. I eat nutritional bread with peanut butter and banana and organic honey on top of it,
Wow.
or a boiled egg to start the day. What about you?
Nice. Yeah, eggs. So I don't know. Okay, and then lunch is like whatever sweet.
Lunch I try to eat like I try to get in like a meat and carb situation with,
Yeah, yeah.
and then look, I'm very healthy. I don't eat that much, and then after that, I have one more cup of cha or coffee, before 4 p.m. I don't drink caffeine after 6, and then straight dinner. That's it. I
You
don't
know,
even snack.
my relationship, I've been thinking about it a lot. I must have tried at least 6 to 7 dietitians in
Tell
my.
me how this dietitian process goes because I've always been intrigued. I've never done it, and I remember dietitian plus nutritionist was what you used to do, right? In Delhi.
Dietitian and nutritionists are used interchangeably. Uh, they do not. I mean, they do not like. I mean, it's not like a doctor, right? Like because doctors have like an exam, and you know that if they are operating from a hospital, that I mean, you will never go to a practitioner, whether it's a lawyer or a doctor, or any of these things, and be like certificate dikhao yaar, like show your. It's just because they're associated with an institute, you like automatically like go like okay, yeah, they have like followed due process to be a doctor, like let's say in AIMS or whatever, right? With nutritionists, that becomes tricky because they are operating from their own independent spaces, right? So the first nutritionist I remember that I had ever taken, she was based out of Lajpat Nagar. A friend had recommended. And honestly, if I show you her diet, there is no head or tail to it. Okay. Like she'll give you.
I remember your diets, paratha with ghee at some point, and this and that. I should be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, but I would lose weight like this, Jesselina. The only diet besides, and I'll talk to you about one more. The only dietitian that has helped me lose weight in my 20s, like early 20s, where I would like lose like 5 6 kgs and it would just work for me, was her. But I remember any person, like whether it was my yoga instructor or my, like any nutritionist, any person who's in the health business, and I would show them this diet, they would be like, this doesn't make sense. Because sometimes, like on days, she would give me like Nerula chocolate fudge to eat in dinner, like, and that would be my dinner. And like there would be 1 or 2 days mandatory every week where like I could have a pizza, I could have sushi, I could have dim sums, like stuff like that. And like it would be crazy, but I would lose weight. But I don't know. I don't know
But
what.
you were also like early 20s where your metabolism was like super
I
fast.
tried that again this time and it's not working for me here in America. It's just not working for me.
And if you
I,
reach out to her, she'll probably say that American food is different. You have to have a different like system for it.
yeah, but it's not working. But then that's what I'm trying to say, that I have tried a lot of nutritionists and I don't know, it's just my food psychology is really fucked up because it's like
Um,
I will like, restrain and I will get very like, very anal about it. And I would be like, nay, I cannot eat this and not at all this. And I will not, like, your psychology with food is very healthy. I just want to let you know.
but Anahita, it's like now it's just a part of my life, right? Like I don't think people know this about me, the type of restrictions I've had, and this is not new. Like I've not got up at 25 and I was like, oh, this is the restriction. This restriction has been there since I've been 17 years old. So it's like almost half my life now.
Hmm.
You know,
This fun fact, Jesselina at 16, 17 had a revelation and I genuinely am too proud of her because I don't think I can ever do that. She gave up rice, something that she loved. Like in Nepal, predominantly people eat rice. Another fun fact, I was in Nepal for 2 3 months, and honestly, requesting for roti was like they don't have roti. Like, but and even if they have roti in like
like
normal
especially in
household,
Kathmandu, like they'll have it
yeah.
more in the Tarai region. Kathmandu, like roti is hardly like
And if you ask them for roti, like in households, like Jesselina's was different. The only household where I found rotis, like how I had it in India. But like I was living with my auntie, and their roti was like with maida. Like they will not be able to make like the normal chakka
yeah,
atta roti, that because it's not a part of their consumption and their
yeah.
food, because rice is more easily available or whatever. And Jesselina, who was a predominant rice eater, loved her rice, somehow got this revelation that if she stops eating rice, she's gonna like, stay fit and thin, and she gave up rice. And till date, except sushi here and there, she doesn't eat rice.
Not just rice. I don't drink soft drinks.
Soda, yeah.
Coke, I used to love drinking Coke. My God, I even now the smell of it like draws me so much. No Coke. These are and no chips. Chips, I fumble here and there when it's like corn-based Doritos and all. I fumble. And sometimes when you go back, there are these Nepali spicy chips that you get. That's only in Nepal.
Yeah.
But Kurkure, all of those Lays, I've not had Lays. I don't know what the new flavors taste like. My green Lays. Do you remember how I used to be
Yeah.
obsessed with green Lays? That was the only thing I ate in
When
school.
we were in school, we used to have that whatever tuck, and used to.
Canteen. And
Yeah.
I was just like, listen, you guys were like thin. I was like, what is wrong with my life? After 10th grade, I went back to Nepal and I was like triple the size of all my friends. And I was like, what the hell have I done? I'm feeling like a pregnant lady.
Yeah.
So now it's just become a lifestyle. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that I think our experiences, where we grow, how we like perceive ourselves, and I don't know, I have always, and like since I've been a child, have had a very troubled relationship with food, in the sense that how I eat or what I eat, in what amounts I eat, is very directly correlated to my emotions, which is why, like, if I'm like
Mhm.
feeling low, I would reach out for food, for
And then
comfort.
you don't know when that line of binging versus comfort comes in to
Yeah,
play.
yeah. Anyway, But
No,
yeah,
man. No, for me, I'll tell you what, like, even back home, when I go back home, my grandma, my mom is like, eat a little bit, eat this much rice. My problem is, I will go back to that child where I sit in front of the TV, I have a mountain of rice. And when I say mountain, I mean a mountain. A
yeah.
mountain of rice is to make a little hole in the rice, put ghee, melted ghee, ghee we call it. It's made, you melt the ghee with like onion, garlic, and like chilies, put that on the rice, like right out of the heat, you put it on the rice, and that smell, my God.
That's what I'm saying now, but there is no science behind. I know this was your own, like, your
Yeah.
own thing, but there's no science behind rice making you gain weight or like
Of
roti
course.
making you
I
gain
eat pasta like a crazy. Like when I get pasta, I make
weight.
pasta so often, but I just think like it was a mental thing that you have to cut out some things.
Some things, yeah, 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 I get that. There's not one thing that I've been able to cut off. But my thing is, I don't even get addicted to anything like in my life. Like, that is one quality that I have. I am not addicted to anything. I'm not addicted to tea. I'm not addicted to coffee. Like, I don't need any particular food or drink or any commodity in my system to survive. Like, everyone has
You
like
don't need an everyday coffee or like a chai. You
nothing.
can survive. You can go a day without it.
Day? I've gone months.
Oh my God.
I don't drink chai or coffee or anything. I like if you be like, oh, Anahita, what is like if I come to your house and you're like, oh, what would you want, absolutely want, like, what is a part of your
Yeah.
routine that you really want, like you can't do
Yeah.
without? I have nothing, nothing.
But now I've also told you like I want to slowly cut out alcohol. I want to slowly cut like in decrease sugar. Like these are some of the things now in my 30s I'm looking at it. But for me, I think one of the challenges in New York, like with alcohol, like during the summer, people go crazy. Like alcohol, like how food brings people together, alcohol brings people together in the summer here in New York. And
Yeah.
it's so difficult. Okay, fine. Suppose I go out with my friends and I'm like, I'm not going to drink. Fine. Dates, you're always drinking. What kind of like sexy date is coffee? Like how lame, how
True.
gassy.
Me and Sahil, we don't drink as much, okay? And it's just a conscious decision that we have always made. Drinking has never been a central part of us bonding, okay? Sahil is not a drinker, and as you know, I also don't drink as much, right? But that makes our dates boring a lot of times. Like, and yeah, like it is true. Like, and the most fun we have, like,
Mm.
the nights that we remember and we go like, oh, you know what, this is so much fun and that was so much fun, is parties and dates where we have like, just like drank.
Or
So,
like really good food, right?
or really good food. But that's true, right? And
Yeah.
so the days when I am on a diet or I'm restricting, which is like most of the time I'm trying to do, right? Um, we don't know what to do. We genuinely don't know what to do. Like what can you do? Like if it's a special occasion or whatever, what do you say? Let's go out for a nice dinner. Let's go
Mm.
out. Like, let's go out. And half of the time I'm just not, um not open to it. So
Mm.
I don't know. It's just
No, it is difficult in Nepal. Food is like a social fact. I was reading about this. It brings people together. When I go back to Nepal and I'm going to people's houses to eat food, the fact that I don't eat rice is like a. It's almost like I'm
I've insulted them.
have insulted. Yeah, I literally insulted them, and I'm like, can I get some bread? Because there's no rotis. Because they're like, you want like a slice of bread? I was like, yeah. Can I just have one bread? And they're like, what do you mean? How will you eat the food? But it is an insult because food is what is bringing everyone together. And when you don't partake equally in all of that, where rice is like the main star of the show that everything sort of, comes together for, it's like you're moving out of your social environment and your cultural environment in a sense.
So, tell me something. Like, I've been in Nepal, but like, it's so yummy your food, by the way. And I'm always really shocked. Like, and generally in India also, if you really go down to like, rudimentary food, I just feel I've always told you that the beauty of Nepal is that because it was not objectively colonized by the West, you guys have retained a lot of your rudimentary things, like, in terms of food, culture. There is a little bit of rustic Nepal alive, which India has lost, like mostly. So, but if I still go down, like Banaras mein, if I go down to, like, the ekdam basic traditional food, and then Nepal, like, it's so simple. It's just dal, one kind of a char, your sag, some meat you guys will make, and rice, and very less spices, like not complicated way of cooking. Like your dal is like my mouth is watering. It's so yummy. I love that dal, yeah.
Black one, the black one.
Oh my God, I just love it. I used to love Nepali food. So I used to work with your mom, right? And we used to go to her NGO, where I used to Sati, right?
Yeah.
And there they used to give me lunch. Okay. And I used to literally look forward to that lunch hour. And what would you get in, like, it was an
Basic, yeah,
like
office
the
lunch.
most basic thing, but they would have this mirchi ka whatever, this achar, and they used to give me dal and rice, and there used to always be some aloo ka or some saag that they used to
Yeah.
give me. I used to like see my mouth is, I'm sad.
Fact that the lunch was your favorite hour of that work says a lot of the organization. I have to tell my mother.
It's superb. Like I still remember. But yeah, tell me. So, what is the food like? Like, how is like food around in Nepal? What is it
Food,
like?
there's of course there's a lot of politics around food. There's also caste, the determination of caste similar to in India. But there is this idea that uh obviously Brahmins, the more very cutthroat Brahmins still don't eat meat. Like I have a lot of Brahmin friends whose grandparents don't touch meat. But now like people have integrated more. Um, my friends who are Newari or Newa, who are more indigenous to Kathmandu, their flavor palette is much more enhanced. It's very I have to take you there. It's much more like it's
What?
very
Give
different.
examples. What?
They have like egg bara, rice batter with egg fried. They have like lungs, which are like they make these tasty like chicken or goat lungs that they like stuff something in. It's so tasty, and they fry it. Like it's very different. Then you go towards the south, it's more like it's more towards like the Bihar UP border area, so the flavor palettes slightly differ there. There are some groups that eat what do you call one of these animals in shells? Snails. Like snails is like a thing. Like I'm sure it's there in India also. Like
Never.
so, different parts like have such different things. But Thakali is more in the mountainous areas, and that's basically the Thakali food is like the rice, the sag, the dal. If you go to eat a
What
plat,
do you eat?
yeah, no, that's not what we eat, but a lot of it is inspired from there.
So
And
what do
then
you eat? Like, let's say in your house, what are are your like, have your grandparents been non-vegetarian or vegetarian?
everyone's
In your
non-vegetarian.
house, there has never been like a
Yeah,
vegetarian.
yeah. But no one eats beef. Like beef is still an issue. But buff in Nepal, like buffalo meat, is like a thing that a lot of the Newaris eat. So
You
we
don't.
also
Your house don't doesn't
my
eat.
house doesn't bring buff in, no.
Doesn't
So we
get.
eat like goat, we eat pork, we eat so goat, pork, chicken, that's what's made in terms of like meat. Pork less. Pork is not really brought into the house, mostly goat or chicken.
Hmm.
Then there's dal, either yellow or black dal. Then there's rice, of course, roti for me. Then there's sag, then aloo ka something. Sometimes there's also, remember in Dehradun, one of our aunts had made that like dahi with egg, that cold dish, and your mom thought we had to heat it. So that
Mm.
it's called dahi anda sadeko. So like
Oh,
that,
yum. I just came back to it. It was yum.
yeah. So and then like different forms of vegetarian. So that's what I like. That it's my mom is very particular that we'll have one type of meat, but there will be two or three types of vegetarian. Like or we will have only vegetarian food. There's never a day where there's no vegetarian dish. There's you either eat completely vegetarian just because she's like we don't want to eat meat every day. That's not healthy. But that's my house.
So my house very interesting. Okay, I
Hmm.
want to, and I want to like talk about it because that like sort of gives a very larger premise to what we are like gonna dive into. My paternal side has been, what to say, like my dadu was more exposed, in the sense he was he went out, he partied, this and that, and my dadu and my dadi had a love marriage. So because my dadu ate everything, traveled a lot, this and that, my dadi ate non-vegetarian with him. Okay, so in our house, but my dadi's mother-in-law, chachi ji we used to call her, so my great grandmother, she was a vegetarian from Amritsar or whatever, from Punjab somewhere. She was a vegetarian. So we had a kitchen niche, like our house was two, two, three-storied house. So the lowest floor was where my great grandmother stayed, and there was a larger kitchen where a Brahmin or a Pandit ji, we used to call him Pandit ji, would come to cook, and that would be the main food of the house. Okay, and matlab, that is the house, that is the food where like the staff would eat. The family members, like chawal, dal, all of that, like basic your everyday food will be made. But then when it was non-vegetarian, my dadu in his floor where all of us stayed got a smaller kitchen made, and in that, like if he wants to have eggs for breakfast, then that would be made. Bread would come there, because bread, there was a notion ki bread पैर से दब के बनता है. Like पहले there was, like, I don't know
Mm.
if it's a myth or whatever,
No,
but
I think
Rabri
it's
roti,
true. Yeah,
because uh,
yeah,
so that was considered not pure or
yeah,
whatever. So
yeah,
bread भी ऊपर आती थी, प्याज, लहसुन, like onion, garlic would be
yeah,
up, and then any meat that he wants to have would be up. So separate kitchen upstairs
yeah,
and the niche
yeah,
downstairs.
yeah,
But then as we were growing up, that line began to blur and whatever. So the niche wala kitchen became thoda sa redundant, like whatever, and then most of the food started getting made up. But
yeah,
in my nani's house,
yeah.
if I tell you, you'll be shocked how food operated. Like, so basically, my nani's house, and that's what I want to tell you, is a northern India, typical northern India upper caste household. My
Mm, mm,
grandmother's house. So over there in UP in Uttar Pradesh. So what is the whole thing over there? It's a Hindu upper caste house.
mm,
So the god Krishna
mm,
ji, Thakur ji, you call it, plays the central role in anything that is going around in the house. So the mandir
mm,
is in the center of the house. Any food that gets made from the morning till the night, you have to first offer the food to God for bhog.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
Now, if you're offering the food to God, how can, like, it's absolutely unheard of that you can give him, you can give God, any, like,
mm, mm,
onion, garlic, whatever, meat or whatever. So, the kitchen became as good as the temple. Okay. So
mm,
when you are down or when you have periods,
mm,
you cannot enter the kitchen. You cannot enter the kitchen with your shoes on.
mm,
You have to wash your hands every time you're entering the kitchen. And if you are bringing a bowl of dal, let's
mm,
say you serve outside to someone, and you have by mistake put that bowl of dal on the table,
mm,
that
mm,
chuta table, like the table where everyone is eating, then that bowl cannot go back inside.
mm,
So that level of strictness I saw, and that is a completely vegetarian household.
mm,
And there I understood, because my house was slowly becoming more flexible with my
mm.
dad growing up and us growing up as non-vegetarians. But with my nani and my great grandmom and all of that, like for the longest time, they tried to convince Niket and me that we need to give up non-vegetarian.
Before I get into the vegetarian, non-vegetarian, I'm just thinking, I think it's also so interesting because for me, in my paternal side, we were living in my paternal house, was a joint family, but the head of the household were my grandparents who were exposed to a lot of worldly culture. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
on my mother's side, also living with the also the grandparents, but those grandparents lived with my mom's grandparents, so who were not worldly, who were in Nepal.
Yeah.
So even if my granddad was progressive, my grandmom was progressive and wanted to take progressive decisions, very limited ability to do that. Whereas in my house, when my mom got married into my father's house and moved, My grandmom was like, okay, there's no such thing as you don't go into the kitchen when you're on your periods. There's nothing like that. The restrictions were completely like broken, and a lot of that was got to do with the fact that my grandmom was solely taking the decision, my paternal grandmom at home. But at my maternal side, it is still more restrictive. Like, you don't go into the kitchen if you're on your
Even
periods.
now, even
Even
now.
now, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't go into the kitchen. But then now I've just told my mom, like, my period cycle is no one's to discuss, so please stop telling anyone. I will do whatever the hell they want. Like, if you don't want me here, I will move out and not be here, but you don't need to go tell anyone what my period cycles are like. I will just enter. And then slowly everyone started pushing back, right? And then my grandmom, poor thing, has been cornered into like not saying anything now. But what I'm saying is, of course, she also made it more liberal than what she used to be shown by her mother-in-law.
Same.
My mom's grandmother, oh my god, she got Alzheimer's when we were much younger, so that was a whole thing. But I still remember some portions of it. She used to have a Brahmin cook, a man who won't be on his periods, who won't,
Same. Same.
1 week of the time not be 1 week of the month not be away from the kitchen, have separate dishes, have all of that, have a bathroom outside of the house, because it's inside the house you have a kitchen, so technically your bathroom should be outside of the house, so use only the bathroom outside of the house. Of
Yeah.
course, when she got older, people are like, bro, like, you need to use inside, you can't go up and down all of this, do all of this nonsense. But very particular, like a separate kitchen for herself. And this whole mentality of how you're positioning vegetarianism and Hinduism is also got to do with caste and who you will allow to even cook your food. Because even allowing people from non-brown, we're Kshatriya in like Hindu terms,
Same.
not allowing people beyond the Kshatriya caste to come and cook for you is in itself a big indication of where your vegetarianism
See,
comes
the whole
from.
logic is that your cook should be Brahmin, like he should be like
Mm,
the purest of the pure. I
yeah,
never
but
thought
still,
about
like, but of course,
a
if you're getting
man
someone,
coming. I never
yeah,
thought about a man coming, but that's true. Even my nanny's house, till now, the person who cooks the food, he's called Maharaj. We call him Maharaj. Yeah, and we say Maharaj, Maharaj Ji, Maharaj, Maharaj. And I've grown up, like ever since I've been like born, uh,
yeah,
he has only been coming, and we call him Maharaj. He's Maharaj, and he wears like a lungi and a ganji, and he
yeah,
has that choti or whatever,
tupi,
and he cooks very good food. He cooks fab food. But okay, playing the devil's advocate here. Okay, there is one thing that, of course, like my philosophy, I am religious as a person, but the one place where I have drawn the line ever since I have had, like, thoughts about what is right, what is wrong, and I'm a God fearing person. But one thing that I've not been able to convince myself is that God will come and dictate that don't eat this but eat that, or or like, and if it is a philosophy that you shouldn't eat, okay, then this whole logic in 9 days I will not eat, or 2 days I will not eat, but then the moment those 9 days get over, I will start eating. That too doesn't make sense to me at all. So
okay, fine. Then let me play the devil's advocate before you move on. What about Karva Chauth?
yeah, so I will get to it, right? See, Karma Chauth, I'm telling you, I have a fucked up logic, okay? I myself, I'm telling you that my logic makes no sense. It is all the years of indoctrination
Convincing. Yeah.
through serials and all of that, where I feel that, oh, if you fast for your husband, it's a sign of, like, your love and your devotion and all. Like, I,
But I'm telling you, you're not crazy, because I saw two Muslim creators, South Asian creators who grew up in the US, and they thought, looking at all these shows of Shah Rukh Khan, who they thought in their head was a Muslim, they were like, yeah, Shah Rukh Khan's wife is doing all of this. We also will have to do this. So they never equated it with religion. They thought it's a cultural thing. Two of
yeah.
them were talking about it.
So for me, keeping Karwa Chauth, honestly, no one has pushed me to do it. If tomorrow I stop doing it, in fact, my mom is so relaxed about it. My mom and her mother-in-law had a very relaxed relationship. So my mom started working and she was exhibiting, right? She used to go for exhibitions, and the time when Karwa Chauth happens, that is like the peak time for textiles and shows and all. So my grandmother like absolutely like prohibited her from like keeping like fast like this. Like she was like, you have to eat, like have nuts, have this, have that, and if you want to not keep it. And then slowly she grew up, and now my mom like, ठीक है, she fasts in the sense that she will not have like proper food, but it's not that she goes without water and all that nonsense.
So
And
we do teach, but my mom still does it, which is like, I'm just like, bro, you're almost 60. Like, stop now.
she,
It's too much. But anyway, go on with your thoughts. Sorry, yeah.
yeah, so that is one. Karwa Chauth has an absolutely different logic. But then when I'm talking about like things like Navratri, yeah, festivals pay you're not supposed to eat. Now, my devil's advocation is that one is chalo whatever. But my other thing is that this logic of, because I really think about it a lot, right? Like the Western influence, like how uh toilets, right? Like they say that the way our toilets were designed of like squatting and excreting is much better for your bowel movements,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Versus like sitting on a chair or whatever,
And even like Harappan civilization and all of
right?
the sewage system and all
Yeah,
that.
even like things like, having a toilet outside your house.
Mm,
They said that, it doesn't like bring contamination, disease, this and that
mm,
into the thing. So there are some things that I feel are logical, right?
mm. Like
Then,
with the time, it was logical with that
then
time.
yes, and then vegetarianism, right? If vegetarianism was a concept, the way Jains and a lot of Hindus and all also, if it rooted in the philosophy, and I remember asking my nani these questions, that
Mm,
why do you want to be a vegetarian? Why are you a vegetarian?
mm,
And if she would say that I do not like harming uh,
mm,
an individual or whatever and eating, I don't like taking that energy. And
mm,
if it was that logic, I feel that it is okay for someone to uh behave like that and like to choose that as a philosophy of their life, that I do not, my religion or my faith or what my belief system is does not allow me to harm another
mm,
language.
mm,
A philosophy that has built a lot of movements, right, in PETA and
mm.
all of that, and even here in the West. So when it comes to that, I agree. But when it comes to politics of exclusion, trying to like show that, oh, you are more pure, when you're trying to make someone feel embarrassed, because there are a lot of sections of the society where they do not have access to food. And then, if that becomes their main source of sustenance and nutrition, and if they're getting, so that is what I'm trying to like play the devil's advocate, that
I
what are
Yeah.
your thoughts about like,
No, I think very similar to, like, I don't think you even need to play the devil's advocate. I'll tell you when I started thinking a lot about this. So at NLU Delhi, I was part of this conversation within the gender circle, okay?
Yeah.
And the conversation was about feminism and vegetarianism and veganism, and this idea that when we're talking about feminism, are we just talking about the human female body, or are we talking about female sex of even other living beings, like ecofeminism? So when we're talking about a cow, how is milk produced? How is the dairy industry sustaining itself? They forcefully impregnate a cow to make sure she is like giving milk, and that's how the dairy industry is surviving. Isn't that,
Supposed to, yeah.
yeah, like, forced pregnancy? These are conversations that feminism should have. And that went on to then, okay, so does that mean like we also need to look at, does ecofeminism look at the lives of like animals? How do we justify that? And then, the conversation around
So
veganism,
interesting.
organic eating, and all of that became very big in the US, PETA and all of that became really big, right? So that one conversation is there. But when you apply the logic of veganism, vegetarianism, in South Asia without the overall context, it becomes very difficult for the exact reasons that you are saying. So in this, what we started reading was Ambedkar's readings on annihilation of caste, and how food has been able to create a hierarchy. It is a tool of hierarchy within the caste system in Hinduism. And it's interesting because if you talk to my Muslim friends, which is very interesting, Pakistani friends, their diet, at least the Punjabi ones, their diet, there's no vegetarian dish.
Yeah.
The saag dish has
Even
meat in it.
vegetarian has
Meat in it.
in meat. They'll have sag meat, they'll have dal meat, they'll have like dal mein meat.
I was eating anda and aloo that day, anda aloo curry,
Mm.
and one of my friends was like, "Why is there no meat today?" I was like, "You don't need to
Anda
eat
is
meat.
meat, anda is
Anda
meat.
is meat." Yeah. And anyway, but of course, so maybe in that sense, the vegetarianism side of things has really evolved a lot of our food practices to make it a balanced diet. Number one, I will give that to
It's
a lot.
and it's, yeah, food is so logical. Why someone eats what they eat in their locality has a lot to do with what was available, what is the weather, what
But
was
there's also
export
there's
import.
also a twist to it. So, for example, Hindus will say we don't eat cow because cows are
Sacred.
god. Basically, we don't eat cows. Pigs we don't eat because pigs are dirty. We
Yeah,
if the Kshatriyas do eat, we'll eat chicken, we'll eat goat. If
chicken,
you eat
mutton, goat, yeah,
chicken, mutton, goat, if the
and
Kshatriyas
fish.
eat, and fish, chalo, but Nepal is not a predominantly like
हाँ, ठीक है.
we our fish is river fishes, which is limited. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not
हाँ,
we're
ठीक है.
landlocked.
Not so much in Uttar Pradesh also. A lot in
Yeah,
Bangladesh and
yeah.
Maharashtra.
Yeah, because they're like
Coast,
coastal areas,
yeah.
right? So in Annihilation of Caste, one of the not I don't know if this was Ambedkar's readings or if this was like an interpretation. If the upper castes are focusing on a few things that are theirs to eat, even if they do become non-vegetarians, and they're saying chicken is clean, goat is clean, mutton is clean, what is left essentially? Beef is left, pig is left.
Hmm.
What are people who have limited availability, like you said, for survival and economics of everything going to eat? If there is a high demand for chicken, that means the price is also high of that.
Chicken is smaller, no?
Limited supply, high demand, price is high.
Hmm.
If there is low demand for beef, for pork, but the supply is stagnant, what is the price going to be? It's not going to be high.
Yeah.
So if you look at the availability and economics of it, it is creating an inherent sort of caste structure that you don't even try to establish. It's being established by not just, I'm saying, like you were saying, what is availability, but who's also creating that availability? Whose demands are creating that availability?
Yeah. 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 True.
So then the conversation of like Westerners being like turn to vegetarianism, turn to veganism, bro, like we can be very easily vegetarian if we want. The amount of vegetarian food in our practice is much more than a salad here.
Yeah. And their definition of what vegan is like, matlab, they will try. It's so funny. I was telling Sahil, they try to imitate non-vegetarian into veg adaptation. Like they'll try to create textures and things that imitate. Not like we don't imitate, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
we'll have like different types of curries. We will have chickpeas, we'll have lentils,
yeah.
cottage cheese, all of those things so integrated that it's very
Yeah.
easy for us to remain vegetarian.
And also, like, it's so interesting of what is considered vegetarian, what is not considered vegetarian, right? Like in India, Nepal, egg is not considered vegetarian, bro. Like egg is a non-veg type. It's a in the middle, but for very like
Uh,
specific vegetarians, it's a
and
non-vegetarian dish.
the smell also.
I read in China they considered egg vegetarian because it never really touches an animal's skin, but milk is non-vegetarian for them because it touches, yeah, the udders. I could
दूध
be very wrong, but this is
in
what I read.
in Hinduism, दूध को अगर non vegetarian मतलब all our puja,
Yeah,
everything is like दूध, like everything,
yeah,
all the food that is made for the gods, everything is milk.
yeah. But
That's
like,
why they have. That's why they have sort of elevated the animal that gives you all of this, that is used for worship, as God. Nah, like
but Hinduism is such an open religion about interpretation. This they're very specific about. Like Navratri in Nepal, we don't like in Kathmandu in the hilly area. Navratri is not a thing. We eat meat before Dashera.
Selena, it's not. It's still very open to interpretation. I just want to let you know. In Maharashtra, festivals without meat is not lots of like sects of Maharashtra's and all, they'll have fish, they'll sacrifice this and that non-vegetarian there. In Bangladesh, I'm
Bengal.
sorry, West Bengal, what do you call, if during Durga Puja they're not having meat, then
Yeah.
it's considered like matlab, what are you doing, like it's like that kind of a thing.
In Nepal during Dashera, we get goat. Like people take loan to buy big goats for
Yeah.
their house to sacrifice.
Similarly, in southern India also, meat is a very predominantly fish, meat and all very predominant in thing. In Goa, you'll have pork. A lot of culture of having pork. They have like most of their delicacies are from pork. It's all
Northeast. They eat a lot of pork.
Northeast, so much. Kashmir meat is considered so much because they need meat to protect themselves against harsh weather conditions.
Mm.
It's only this belt now, this northern belt from
Mm.
Haryana to Bihar or whatever,
Mm.
a little bit here and there. Here, the thing is that this is considered a very fertile belt. Why is it considered fertile? Because a lot of access to rivers. You had like it was an agricultural belt.
Is paddy production is like wheat growing and all? Where is that in India? It's in this belt.
Yeah, this belt
Okay.
exactly. Now, so it's known as the kitchen or whatever
Mm.
of India. This belt.
Mm.
So, मतलब वही I'm trying to tell you now. Like my logic is this belt was always thriving because food came from here and whatever.
Mm.
So they were rich. Now whatever their religion was, whatever their thing was, because they had so much money and influence and power,
Language. Yeah.
became like this my logic. I don't know if it's tested or not, but I'm just thinking it's my
Okay.
logic. Okay, must have come as whatever predominantly jobi. And then what are they eating?
Mm.
Why are they eating what they are eating? It is not
Mm.
because they want to be pure or anything.
Mm.
It is because that is available. If every house has access to wheat, to rice, to dal, to vegetables, because you're so fertile, your
Mm.
land is being irrigated without you having to make effort, and that is something that is naturally growing, that becomes a part of your meal. Yeah, because it's cheaper, it's more abundant.
Mm.
But वही अगर तुम West Bengal में जाओ, तो they will have fish, they will have rice,
Mm.
because that is what is being grown in there.
Yeah.
Now, does that make someone who's a fishitarian or a pescatarian less pure than people who are eating? No. I mean, they are just eating what is accessible. It is logical. Will God want you to go, like, He will also be like, for the sake of like harmony or whatever, let's eat whatever is available in your
But
area.
that's the thing. Like for India, it's not just like it doesn't start there, right? Like remember, even during the divide and rule, they would make those cartridges of bombs and all with either pork or with beef to like create the rift between Hindu Muslims.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's also it's not just the caste politics of it. There's also the religion side of what you eat, what you don't eat. You know,
Religion to देखो अब I don't know why in Islam pork is banned, but it is considered haram, right? I don't know the
they think
logic.
it's dirt. They're like it's dirty.
It's
So that
dirty, yeah. So
it's
there's
got a thick neck. You can't do the halal whatever is what I've understood. You
huh.
can't do the halal thing to it. So like it's dirty.
Acha, okay. So, and in ours, I explained that, a cow is worshipped. All the big figures, that we worship have cows as their companion and this and that. And Krishna really worshipped cow, like it was a very, important part. So it's
My dad has one more logic on the cow thing. Like he's more like Sanatan Dharma, and he's like, I don't believe in Brahminical Hinduism, but I want to see the logic behind things. He's like the cow was regarded as God. Like in ancient times, if you go, what would you regard as God? As something that gives you the most quality of life. If the cow is giving you milk that you can drink, if the cow is giving you gobar that you can use in your house, if
yeah,
the cow is helping you eat the grass that you don't need in your house, if it's giving you everything to survive in a lifetime, why would you kill it?
100%, 100%. Like I can like that, and that's how now. Like even these mythologies, like why do you think Krishna loved his cows so much? Must be because of all this only, na? In their
Yeah,
culture, like it must be convenience, and that's how mythology gets built and
yeah,
whatever. So, so we are like, yeah, अच्छा ठीक है, we worship cows, so cows नहीं खाएंगे, but then यहाँ West and Islam and all, they eat beef. Beef is a
yeah,
very, very important part of their thing. So that
yeah,
politics is also, there's so much I remember. Now also it must be happening, but it's not reported as much. But I remember when BJP had just come in, the
yeah.
first 2 3 years, it used to be ruthless the way they
Mm.
used to
The
lynch.
lynching. Yeah. In Nepal, it's very interesting because I'll tell you what, it's in Nepal, it's slightly more complicated because buff, which is not as eaten in India,
Yes.
buff is very like an important part of many cultures. Beef is eaten in different regions beef is eaten. I have read case laws where they were trying to make sure that killing of cow wasn't a crime, but they did end up making it a challenge. But I think for Nepal, what's been interesting, just moving more from like towards the vegetarian side of it, is also interesting how like India has become an export hub for a lot of things,
Yeah.
right? And the liberalization of the economy, and India is one of the biggest exporters of beef.
Because of beef, yeah. That was a
But it
very strong debate.
right, it's one of the biggest exporters of beef, but it's also one of the biggest exporters of rice, biggest, like for everything. Like it is exporting and working in the global market in Nepal. And I remember having this conversation. I want to get your thoughts about like GMOs, like genetically modified, like
Yeah.
organisms and like crops and all of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do you think in India, when you guys like export so much, there is still quality available for everyone in the country? Or do you think there is this neocolonialism that's happening with food?
I don't know. I don't know. But I remember when I was younger, we had gone to Darjeeling, and there were these really like, like Darjeeling is known for its tea estates, right? And I remember going there, and then we were talking to owners of tea estates and everything. And this is back in 2000, early 2000s, right? Like that's when I'm talking about. I was like 10 or something. And they said that the best of our teas goes to Britain and US and things like that. And here the Tata tea and all of that is there, it's of a lower quality. Because and Jesselina, that's not neocolonialism कि हम अपना best उनको दे रहे हैं और अपने पास ऐसे रख रहे हैं. It is also the food standards that each country sets for themselves now. If I want to trade with Europe, right? And Europe has really stringent food standards in terms of like the quality that they are bringing in into their country. And we do not have the standards as competitive as theirs. So then what will we do? We will try to sift, like let's say take example of tea, we will try to sift the best and try to like purify it as much as we can for competitive purposes and send it to them. When हमारे यहाँ it'll chalo, because
No, I agree. I think that's very strong logic. But in so one of the things that was happening in Nepal, and because like Nepal's conversations are slightly more left, especially when like the new government came like a
yeah.
couple of years ago and all. The Nepal peasant society, they have this society of like workers, union workers and all. They were very strict in like pushing forward this idea that if you bring forward GMOs or like genetically modified organisms and crops that can create this level of, the thing is, okay, let's say Britain puts this tag for Indian tea, says we want to have this standard of tea. Fine, you can produce that standard of tea, but the level of production then depends on the crops that are able to grow very
Yeah,
fast,
yeah, yeah.
right? To
Obviously,
meet that demand. So what has happened, and I've not done my research on India, but they will obviously send certain crops that take away from the natural resources of
but
that land.
again, this is
So
exactly
this is a form
Trump
of
got upset with us.
neocolonialism.
But this is why Trump got upset with us recently because they were trying to do that to Indian agricultural thing. They were like, increase your import of these genetically modified crops from us and have them growing. And then our government pushed back, saying that if we're going to do this, then we're going to kill
Soil health and all of
our
that.
soil health and our farmers, market.
And that's the thing. So and this is what I'm saying, it is a form of neocolonialism because it's not just crops that they're doing, right? In Africa, they have like these economic zones that they say we will only do the production, and all the production that's coming from here is only going to go into this country
And nothing to feed, like
and
even
nothing to
the
feed the
staff.
locals. And when the GMOs take over, because who knows land practices? Yes, from a profit sense of view, it might be able to double the production, but local farmers know land practices of what's going to harm your land in the long run.
Exactly.
30 years you get great money, then what? Then what happens to our soil? So I
Yeah.
think that has been very interesting. But one more thing, I don't know if you know about this, that I want to share about like the new colonialism aspect. Have you heard of this turmeric biopiracy case? It's very interesting. We did it in law school. So in 1995, These two Indian American scientists in a university said, we're going to patent turmeric as a antiseptic quality.
ठीक है.
Turmeric, haldi, we all know has antiseptic qualities, you know. They were like, we're going to patent it with the World Trade Organization. What that would mean is any production that India would do with medicines that would have turmeric as an antiseptic quality, they would have to end up paying royalty if they were to sell in the international market, in the US market, to that particular group of scientists who would have the patent.
Okay.
So, how the patent law works is in the World Trade Organization or overall, if it's not a novelty, if it's something already established as
Yeah.
old,
Yeah.
they won't give you that patent.
Yeah.
So, India, there was this one person who was like, bro, this is insane. What are you saying? We have scriptures that talk about the
Yeah.
antiseptic qualities of herbs and of turmeric and everything.
Yeah.
So this man had to fight with these two like Indian Americans who were trying to patent this and finally find some old scripture of India that said that turmeric has a quality that is not antiseptic. And the same with ashwagandha, with so many neem, with so many things.
When it said that it is antiseptic,
It
now.
is antiseptic, and that's why those people couldn't get the patent. And then India realized that we need to have a database. So I think they took out something called Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. And now India has this online database for all of these like older herbs.
La,
Yeah, so
all.
that no one can patent it. But just imagine, it's not just crops, it's not just food, it's also like the smallest, minute, like that practices that we've known for ages and ages, and now are being replicated and
Yeah,
glorified as something new.
that's true. That's true. In fact, I was talking to my friends in college, and one of them was Korean, one of them was Chinese, and we were talking about it. I was like, how is it that China has such ancient knowledge of herbs and teas, and you guys have so many, like, solutions to weight loss and stuff like that, but you guys have never used that, as a soft power to like the way, and the way Korea and Japan has, like, they have dominated the beauty industry with their ingredients. And if you look at it, snail mucus, all of these ingredients, why do they sound exotic? But they must be a very common part in their everyday. Like in India or South Asia, besan is considered, turmeric is considered as a glowing thing, if you look at the beauty industry here in America, you don't have these ingredients in your face packs, and like you barely even have these concoctions. But in India, it is so widespread. uh, there's a brand called Nat Habit. I don't know if you know them. Excellent brand. And their philosophy is that beauty starts in your kitchen. And they make like these concoctions of like everything that you can eat into like hair masks and skin masks. So very interesting that how we can
Yeah.
exploit food philosophies and all to expand, in industries also, like beauty,
Mhm.
wellness, and all of that.
Mm. No, 100%. Super interesting conversation. I loved our conversation
Yeah,
today. I wanted to speak more about like the US government, SNAP benefits and all. Maybe next time when we
we'll
talk about our understanding of how the US works. Uh, but no, I think
करा था मैंने अपना research.
badya, badya. But no, I think food is something like you said is, we've seen it create exclusions, but it also brings people together. Dates, love, life.
Dates, communities.
You cook so much for people you love. Like
I
you're
cook.
one of the, yeah.
Yeah, I love to cook. I feel
Fun fact about Anahita, she's a great butter chicken chef.
I cook more also, more things. But yeah, love food. Hate it, love it. You can't ignore it.
Yeah, but I think my idea for my next like 30s is to really look at food more healthily. Obviously, when I get pregnant, I'm going to eat rice. That's the one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't want to
That's
deny
an
my child.
announcement.
Yes. I
That's
don't
very,
want to deny my child their,
yeah, you shouldn't.
food from their land.
Yeah. Aww.
So I'll eat rice. The moment I get pregnant, I'll just start eating it.
Can't wait for your baby, my God.
Okay, it's not happening right now, but
In a
thanks.
rice ball. Okay. All right. Off topic. Bye. Love you so much.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
You're my favorite girl. Favorite. You make my sun go out.